Well, yeah, the 12-year-old, the youngest one, she's coming to take her test, and then the next door to us is, I can't know Gary, so he's coming to take this test to come out.
Oh,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. So I bribed her, but told her, $50 if you pass.
Oh my gosh.
I need to back up her number.
Hell, I'll get it on that
The middle one, who is 17, I don't.
one. Okay.
I thought she might do it.
You two for that.
To mark everything in the state is 2. Everything in the state is that.
Except Eastern.
Okay, east.
No, everything in the state is 2, and if you have region 5 in there.
Region 5 is 2 as well.
If you have region 5 in yours.
I do.
Okay, that's 2 as well. And then everything else is on 1.
Right, Barrett is on.
Parents on 1.
Yeah.
And the idea is the stuff we want to stay running, like storms and that, is on 2. And then all the bullshit stuff.
But that's the reason I thought tornado would be on.
It is, but like Prince said that last night, the tornado can run on 1. And then 2 is still up for next. That's the way the state market is.
See what you have to use, there's programming software if you need your.
So region 5 is 2.
Correct.
I can't program that.
This book, perfect. Look at this thing.
Oh, this is what you bought in
Claremore for $5.
$5 you want this one?
Yeah.
Power it on, you hold that button down. Yeah, the big one.
Is it, so it's, if it's VHF only?
I
I mean, it's, I'm sorry, FM only?
yeah, FM only.
It probably can. Be nice, because I got a kid already. If I can, sure, if I got, sure.
But I don't have a TYT software, sure. I would think if it's that, then you have to do them on TH in it.
Yeah, TH-UV3R. Yeah, I think that's second $5. Charging good one.
What about WWYL?
1. That's the young ladies,
Yeah.
the women's stuff. The women's stuff. Worldwide young ladies, worldwide. No, okay, there's some list. There we are. TH. UV3R. That's UV3R. Yeah. What you waiting for, man? Works on chirp. Get it. Good. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. That is cute. I've never seen it. Yeah.
Are those fairly new?
No,
No?
that's an older one. But you remember the old, the ICOM, what was it, the VX1, VX2, and VX3?
That.
They were this small.
Well, I've been seeing some ads for something about that size.
Well, that'd be a new
It might
version.
be like a new version. It seems like it's either TYT or Radiotic.
It's Radiotic.
Yeah.
Because TUIT, I think, was bought by Radiotic. Or it's under the umbrella of Radiotic. I haven't figured out all that. Yeah, but that's, I think they got a new version like of this, but it's a lot more newer than this.
Yeah.
This one, TYT, Radiotic gal said the GD77s are on back order for a long
Yeah.
time.
They're
Really? She said, you got another choice of radio. What's the other choice? I don't know.
that. I mean, that's one of the. thing that we're running into is, people are wanting the DMR radios. And then the other option was the, developing 1701, but they can't get those anymore.
Whole thing, 1701.
Yeah, it's a DMR,
Oh, is it?
yeah, and I've got a handful of those, but, you can't get them. You know, they were sold for about $100. So it's comparable, but anything in that price range is pretty much. VTech makes the, like the 8x6, which is comparable to the. VTech 878. But those are like $200.
The 878 has got there. Plus,
That's what you got there is one like.
the 878 plus, 2 plus
Yeah.
is
It makes it all, you
299.
start taking it.
So,
So, yeah.
for a DMR rate.
Yeah.
I mean, when you can get the GD77 for less than $100.
Well, and don't worry, I've got things that not the one.
I had that.
And I mean, I love it.
I had it, I sold it. I never really used them that much in DMRs, so to me, it wasn't worth carrying around. It was a glorified commuter for 4 years, just analog. That's all it was, glorified. I had the DMR in it, and the GD77, if I want to, I can just have no good legislation, and I got it just about more after membership. You know, and I thought, hey, that was worth that.
Well, I see Ken.
Yeah, I got her going. I don't know if we can hear each other or not.
I just got the
I
same.
hear you.
How's it going?
Oh, pretty good, I guess. My tower survived the windstorm last night
Good.
and my antenna.
Yeah.
I got that, because that was $200.
Oh, there's, thank you, Guy. I think he muted it.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
thanks.
Yeah, now we can hear a little better.
Who was that, Ken?
That's, Mark. And
Klein?
I don't remember his last name. There's 2 Marks there.
Is that Mark Klein or is it
Mark
the other Mark?
Klein. Yeah,
Klein?
and this is the other Mark. I don't know if I have his name. I have his,
That's okay.
I don't even have his call sign written down. I better get that. What I did is, you know, on the bottom of the image here, it's got people's name and call sign.
Right.
I wrote them down, but that Mark is not on very much other than at the fire station, and it's always got Mark Klein's name on it down there.
But that's not Mark Klein that
No,
muted the audio. Okay.
Mark Klein is that's him over there on against the wall, almost straight across from this Mark that's close to us. You see him over there? He'd be in the top right corner of your picture.
I see a little dot over there.
Yeah, that's him.
Okay. John's on, but he's got his audio and video muted.
Yeah, he's getting it going, but he's probably busy doing something else. I had mine started, but I had to go feed the dog.
Yeah,
My
that's what I was,
daughter-in-law's dog.
that's what I was doing just before I got on, was feeding the dog.
Yeah. I just
Dog's
got
got to
through,
eat, I tell you.
earlier today, I worked on 15 meters. I worked United Arab Emirates.
Wow.
And its call sign is A65DR. and I've worked really some good DX. I haven't really been in the ham shack. I come in every once in a while and see a DX station on there, and been pretty lucky about working them. I also worked Morocco today, and I worked Sri Lanka yesterday. And
Wow.
that's straight over the North Pole. I think it was 9,600 miles.
And what was the country again?
Sri Lanka, it's an island off the southern coast of India.
Yeah, I'm familiar with it. Well, I know where it is anyway, sort of.
That's
I'm
me.
not familiar with it, but
That's all I know. I've
I
worked
know.
them. I've worked them before, but I'd never worked them on this particular band, which is, oh, I don't see it now. I think it was 15 meters. That's what these others were on. Was United Arab Emirates and Cameroon were both on 15 meters.
Well, I was on 20 the other day, and the band was pretty kind of sort crowded, and
Yeah,
so I moved down to 17
yeah.
and did pretty good. I worked
17's I like 17.
Norway,
Fantastic.
Northern Ireland,
Yeah,
the Netherlands, Belgium,
man.
Slovenia, and Italy,
Wow, that's good.
all in one setting there on 17 meters.
Man, and 15 has been good too. I really don't work 20 a lot because it is so crowded, unless there's some DX station on there that I need or something. But FTH is a different ball game, because with this little add-on program called JT Alert, you can whenever you work somebody in the digital mode, this WSJTX program, when you log it, you can log it in that program. You don't have to use your logging program.
Oh, that's cool.
As soon as you get through with it, you click this button and it logs it.
Wow.
So then you can take that log and upload it. I upload it to my AC amateur contact log. And then from that, I upload it to Logbook of the World. But you can, in the JT Alert program, you can mark which one of these are confirmed. And so there's a place in there where you have a list of stations that you need and stations that you've already worked. So if I get a station like Cameroon or something on 15, I go into that program and check it, saying that I've worked that station. And then if that comes up again, it won't show that I need it. And so I don't keep working stations that I've already worked. Follow me? And that helps me get more. It helps me keep track of what I've worked.
Yeah,
I don't work them. I don't want to spend 30 minutes trying to work Sri Lanka when I don't need it. You see what I mean?
Exactly.
So this will tell me whether I need them or not. And it makes it a lot easier for me, because I'm trying to work all the DX I can. I've already worked all the stateside. I've got 50 states and 10 bands. So I don't need any of them.
That's truly amazing. One other country I left off there. I also worked New Zealand.
Now that's good.
The southern island of New Zealand.
Yeah. Well, that means that you're capable of working Australia. And Australia comes in this time of day, and New Zealand too, in the evening.
Yeah, I can't. I could go back to my log and see what time it was.
Yeah.
I doubt it was this. I think I worked it earlier.
Yeah.
Because I'm usually not
That was
still
on
on at this
17.
time.
On 17.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wasn't on 17 much today. I was on 15 most of the day.
Well, that wasn't today. That's been a couple of days ago when I
Oh,
worked in
okay.
New Zealand, but
Yeah.
I was really thrilled to get New Zealand.
Yeah.
Man, that's a long way down there.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of islands down there too. New Caledonia's been on the air a lot lately. I've worked, and Fiji is on. And let's see. Oh, I worked probably in the past month. I have worked um, Southern Australia several times.
Hmm.
Tasmania, which is a VE7.
Wow. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get set up for FT8, I guess.
But the furthest distance in Australia is VE6s. They are on all the way across Australia, which would be Western Australia. And I've worked a few of them. There's only one territory in Australia that I don't have confirmed, and that's a VK8, which is Northern Territory. And I've worked them several times, but never have got them confirmed yet. So don't run off, John.
I'm not going nowhere.
Okay.
Just listening.
Did you hear the stations I worked?
Yeah, I was listening. Yeah, I was.
You got a bunch of them.
Yeah, I did. Was that on phone?
Yeah,
Good.
all on phone. And all on, most all of it was on 17 meters in the afternoon.
So
Sounds good.
your antenna's working pretty good on 17
Yeah.
meters.
Oh,
isn't it?
sure it is.
And also, I had already worked them, but also that same afternoon I worked Italy too. But that, yeah, I trimmed it a little bit more. I talked to Ken about this, but I trimmed the 20 meter just a little bit more, and it didn't raise the resonant frequency as much as I thought it should, but it did raise it a little bit.
Did it affect the other bands?
No, I don't think so. I can't say. I really haven't gone back and checked the other bands.
Yeah.
I don't think it should.
If it did, it shouldn't have been very much because you didn't take very much off of 20 meters.
No, I have now taken an inch and a half off each side of the dipole.
Yeah.
On 20.
Yeah, I wouldn't trim anymore until I check them other bands.
Okay, well, yeah, I put it back up, and I'm not planning on trimming 20 anymore.
You didn't get those with your hex beam?
Yeah, that's the only antenna I've got is the hex beam.
Right. But what about dipole? What?
Well, the hex beam is made up of 5 separate dipoles.
So it's actually like a 2-element beam, John.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I see what you're saying. You do have he probably didn't have a SWR meter.
It's got one
Well,
built in his radio.
I've got an SWR meter on the radio, and I've got a network analyzer.
So did that work? What you did?
The network analyzer?
No, shaving the 1.5 inches off 20, you said.
It didn't move it as much as I had calculated it would, which I don't fully understand, but it may have to do with the way that antenna is built. Those dipole elements are not straight dipole elements. They're V-shaped. Each half of the dipole is V-shaped. It starts out at the center pole. It goes out one of those to the tip of one of those fiberglass rods, and then it goes around the periphery partway. So it makes kind of a V-shaped element.
Okay.
So I'm not sure if what effect that has, being kind of an odd shape, but I was just using the dipole formula to calculate how much to trim, and it didn't raise the resonant point as much as I'd calculated it would, but it's okay. It's like Ken said, if I raise it too much, then it's not going to work down in the data portion of the 20 meter band very well. So I'm going to leave it where it is.
Oh, okay.
And I was really interested last night. We had, depending on which weather forecast or forecaster you believe, we either had 50+ mile-an-hour winds or 70 mile-an-hour winds out here. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I think it was closer to 70 because it was really blowing out here.
I measured 38 miles per hour.
Yeah, I think we had about 50 mile-an-hour winds here.
Yeah, so it's about 38. When the actual front came through, when the front actually came through, it was probably about 38 miles, 40 at tops, but nothing severe. Nothing to blow the sirens over.
We're a little farther out than you are. I don't know. We're about 4 miles out here. And we were a little closer to the center of that storm that came through, I think.
Oh, it came right over me. It didn't do anything.
I got 2.4 inches of rain out of it.
Yeah, no, I got a lot of rain. I had a river, no doubt.
Yeah, well, between the two rainstorms, I think we got over 4 inches of rain.
Wow. This
Yeah.
is between the two that I got 2.4 inches.
Yeah,
So
we
you
got that much out of the last rain.
Yeah, you got a lot. You
Yeah.
don't have a funnel on
That's
your
the only
roof.
thing that I hate about that is I'm on a grade. My backyard's on a grade, and it rains that hard, right? It comes up in my neighbor's yard, and it just flows down, and it's just terrible. I can't stand it. Oh, it's
Come
terrible.
down.
Flows down in your yard or into his yard?
No, it flows. It starts in his yard, and then it works its way under the fence, and then comes down a thing, and then the neighbors get it, and the other neighbors get it. And they all complain about it, and I'm like, hey, look, I can't help you on a grade,
So
Yeah,
does
what do they
it come in
expect
your
you to do?
front yard or your backyard? or what?
Backyard.
I had kind of a same type of deal in Oklahoma City.
And so when it's pouring rain, when you look out there when it's pouring rain, it's just like a river. I mean, it's just nothing you can do about it.
You live on the east side of Norman?
South.
South and east or west?
I live over on Cedar Lane and 12th.
East 12th or west 12th?
Well, south, Cedar Lane and 12th. So Cedar Lane would be east, and then it would be east 12th. So 12th Avenue cuts off, and then the other part of 12th Avenue. So I'm south of Highway 9.
Okay.
Was that,
The way my backyard is, I mean, go ahead.
I guess that freeway is not going to affect you, John?
No. Oh, you're talking about the turnpike, right?
Yeah.
So have they said yay or nay or what?
Well, they're going to build it. No doubt. You can't stop them.
I don't know. We stopped them when they wanted to do it about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
They wanted to do it and they wanted to come down Franklin Road. And a bunch of us showed up at the meeting and raised hell with them.
Huh.
And there was a lot of other people that were unhappy about it too, going down Franklin. And they gave up on that. And this is the first time that it's come back up since then.
Yeah. And you notice they have it all mapped out before they told anybody.
Yeah. So I'm not sure if enough people complain, they may not do it. But I agree with you, Ken, in terms of where it ought to go. It ought to go on the other side of Thunderbird and then go down and tie in a lot farther south.
Yeah.
That would be much better for future too.
Well, sure it would. And, it would cut off a lot more mileage for the truckers if they made it kind of an angle across there.
Yeah.
Truckers coming from Arkansas or wherever, and then wanting to go to Dallas, they could make it kind of an
Well,
angle
from-
across
from-
there.
From north to south, if truckers coming from Kansas, Nebraska, all that direction up there could pretty much go around Oklahoma City.
Now I'm not up to date. Yeah, I'm not up to date on this. But what are they trying to do?
There, you know where the new Kickapoo Turnpike is?
Yes,
On
yes, yes.
I-40 there by close to Feebly Road that goes
Yeah.
north. They want to
Yeah.
hook onto that and go south and go between Thunderbird Lake and downtown Norman with a turnpike, and then it connects up north of Purcell. But they're going through all of those residents, high dollar houses, when they could go on the other side of Thunderbird, and the real estate that they had to buy would be much cheaper. And they wouldn't displace 600 homes.
Yeah, but I don't understand what they seek to accomplish. I don't get it.
I'm with you. I don't see the point in it either, really.
Well, it's to collect a toll.
Well, no, I got all that. But what I'm getting at, are you trying to get to Purcell easier? Like, what are we trying to do?
No, they're trying to divert
Trucks
some of
around
the
Oklahoma
traffic
City.
around Oklahoma City, I think, rather than those trucks coming from the east, like in Arkansas, rather than going through that intersection of where I-35 and I-40 cross. That's a bad intersection anyway.
And it's going to get worse as time goes by.
Yep. So they're trying, I think, to divert some of that traffic around that intersection there, and it would divert some traffic, I guess.
No, but real quick, where's that intersection again?
Well, I-40 and I-35, right downtown.
Oh.
Oklahoma City.
Oh, I got you. Well, I mean, it doesn't matter. That's a big noise. And then they'll come out in 15 years and be like, oh, we got to do this now. And we got to branch off from what we already built, and we got to branch it around these people. No, they shouldn't do that.
But they got to do something. Traffic's just going to get worse. So the next 10 years,
Yeah.
every year, more traffic. And we're kind of a crossroads here, 40 and 35. There's a lot of trucks coming through here.
Oh my God. On both ways.
Yeah.
I-35 is, if you go out I-35 to the west, it's just a continuous string of trucks.
That's right.
You could almost walk across the top from truck to truck.
So are you guys for or against it? I guess what I'm asking.
I'm against it. I mean,
We're against where they're going to put it. Eventually, they're going to do it. We can't stop them from doing it, but where they put it is my concern. And it's not going to affect me, but still yet, common sense says that it should go to the east side of Thunderbird Lake.
Yeah, that makes sense. But you know what's funny about that is nobody's using that Kickapoo thing. So, I mean, whenever I used to drive it, nobody was there.
That's the way all them, most of the turnpikes aren't heavily used, but they're sure handy when you need them.
yeah, if you've got a, they build turnpikes rather than state highways. And
Well, I think the state government needs to worry about not buying $100,000 smoker for Swadley's and work on something else.
oh, really? Did they buy a
Oh,
Swadley?
it's a big disaster with Swadley's in the state of Oklahoma.
Oh, really?
Oh
I hadn't
yeah.
heard I hadn't heard that one.
Oh yeah. They I guess they wasted a bunch of government money or whatever. State money. You know, they bought used smokers for these. What are they? Foggy Bottom.
It's still government, it's state government, John.
Right. But the Foggy Bottom restaurants that are at like 5 state parks, and apparently a bunch of stuff's coming out where they spent a bunch of money on stuff that wasn't worth that. So Anyway, state tourism is done with Swaddley's, and I guess Swaddley's done with them, and they're closing all their Foggy Bottom restaurants.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Yeah. Somebody else will take over the contract and open it up. They claimed that Swaddley was spending, well, they didn't have any oversight, so they just spending like crazy. So it was whoever set up the contract, which was the tourism department, that guy has resigned because of this deal. And it was their responsibility to have oversight. If you give a government contract to some company and it has no oversight, they're going to go crazy,
oh yeah.
you know? So,
And what's funny about it is they were used smokers too. They weren't even brand new.
hey, they could always say, due to the COVID, they couldn't buy new ones. Had to buy used ones.
That's rich. But yeah, but I hear a couple of the turnpike stuff is going to affect a couple of our guys, huh?
Yeah, it's coming pretty close to my daughter's house, and it's a couple of miles from your house, isn't it, Bill?
Yeah. Do you know where Indian Hills is, John?
Oh yeah.
Okay. It's coming down Indian Hills Road.
Oh, they're going to build an on-queue on your corner. Right.
And my daughter and her husband, my youngest daughter and her husband just bought a house out there, I don't know, maybe less than 2 years ago. And I was over there and she showed me the map where it's going to go. And she was very unhappy because she said she moved out of Norman to get away from the dead gum noise. Now there's going to be a highway come by there. And she said if she'd have known that, they wouldn't have bought there. They would have went further out.
Yeah, that is interesting.
And it's a high dollar area there. Too
Well,
rich for my blood.
they need to get organized and show up at those meetings and raise hell with the DOT.
Yeah, well, if they're dead set on it, I don't think anybody can do anything. So.
I think their mind's made up this time, Bill.
You think
Yeah,
so?
that's what I was thinking.
There's old Carl.
Yeah, Carl's down there. So I would tell you guys, I'm going to build a cobweb antenna. Have you heard these things?
I've
You
heard
blanked out there.
No, I say it again.
Yeah, you froze up there for a minute. Say
Oh,
again.
I'm sorry. I'm going to build a cobweb antenna.
Oh, a cobweb.
Yeah.
That's kind of like a hex beam in a way.
Oh, kind of. Not as sophisticated as yours, but it's a thought.
That reminds me, Bill, I worked a guy in Jakarta that had the same kind of antenna you've got.
Did he have a good signal?
Yeah. From Jakarta, it wouldn't have to be good as long as we made the contact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Jakarta is just about halfway around the world.
Yeah.
But I'm not putting it on a tower. I'm going to put it on a telescoping mast.
When you was out here, John, did you look at my unipole antenna?
Yes.
That seems to be a good working antenna.
Well, for FT8, right?
For any, it doesn't matter what mode it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that wind was really blowing that X beam around last night. standing there watching the tower and the X beam, wondering if,
It's going off.
Well, your gin pole helps brace that tower up pretty good.
it helps some from one direction. The way you got yours, it works better than mine. I don't have that V-shaped deal made.
You
for
need
mine.
that in there, man. That's like, that's really beefs up that tower.
Yeah, it would help. I could see during the peak gusts, I could see the tower move a little bit, you know. I could see some movement at the top of the tower.
Yeah.
Which is to be expected. I mean, it's not, obviously it's not perfectly rigid. It's a,
Yeah. But
It's got-
if you held up to that kind of wind with no more movement than that, you're pretty good shape. You don't have a lot of wind load there.
well, I've got about all the towers rated for. It's not a heavy duty. I really wish I had bought a little bit heavier duty version of it. It's rated for 7 square feet at the top.
Mhm.
And then I've also got that, I was kind of worried about that aluminum mast in there too. I wrote a spreadsheet to calculate the load on a mast, any
Mhm.
kind of mast. You just
Yeah.
plug in the dimensions and
Mhm.
it'll give you the maximum stress load on the mast at the bottom where it's concentrated.
Yeah.
And
Well, you know what I use for a mast? I use a rigid conduit. It's steel and it's strong.
yeah, but you've got a steel tower.
Yeah.
Steel and aluminum don't like each other.
Yeah, they don't. That's right.
So
Okay, well, the other thing you could do is 2 pieces of aluminum, one inside the other one, to straighten it up.
yeah, if you could find 2 pieces of aluminum tubing that fit each other that well.
Well, you can buy them that are made to fit inside.
Now, in fact, I bought a 6-foot section like that from DX Engineering that came out that fit just perfectly. In fact, I'm sure they have it made, those 2 pieces made to fit each other. And it was 1 5/8 inches, and that tower was supposed to be 1 5/8 inches inside that top
Yeah.
bushing, but it's slightly smaller, and that wouldn't work in there. So I had to get a little bit smaller
Yeah.
mast. That was one of the
I remember that. That was one of the headaches.
headaches. And then I had to make a special adapter for that new piece of tubing to fit the hex beam.
Yeah.
So all in all, it turned out to be a pretty big project, but it's a done deal unless it blows over.
Yeah.
Now I know you got it on a tower, but did that hex beam come with a tripod? There you go.
No,
No, all right.
no, I built a stand for it to assemble it on. Just out of a 4x4 and some piece of plywood at the bottom and some rails and a spike that the hex beam could slip down over. You have to have something like that in order to assemble it. So if you get ready to assemble your, what's the name of the antenna? The
Cobweb.
Cobweb. If you get ready to assemble a cobweb, you need something to assemble it on. You could have this thing or borrow it or whatever you want, to set it on and assemble it.
Now was that hex beam terribly heavy or?
No, it's only 20, hex beam only weighs 25 pounds, believe it or not.
So are you gonna do a homemade, homebrew cobweb?
Yeah. I got the pieces coming in right now. I just don't know what to put it on. I want to get it up about 34 feet, 35 feet.
So it's a kit.
No. I'm putting it together.
So you're just buying the raw chunks. Is it made on fiberglass tubing too, or?
Yeah, I ordered some fiberglass tubing, but it hasn't. I have no idea when it's going to get here.
Yeah, that apparently is a problem because the first guy, one of the hams that builds those things and sells them, I tried to order his because his had 6 meters on it also. And I talked to him on the phone and he said, I just can't get fiberglass. He said, I'll put your name on a waiting list, but I can't get fiberglass. But that was 4 or 5 months ago. So that maybe it's.
So I'm doing it for 20, 17, 15, 12, and 10.
That's what the hex beam covers too. 5 bands.
You froze up there. Go back again.
I said that's the bands that the hex beam covers.
Gotcha.
5 bands, but they have a 6 bander too, with a 6 meter element down below right on the bottom. But I've heard that doesn't work too well. It works, but it doesn't work too well. But as you demonstrated to me the other night, mine will load up on 6 meters.
Well, I mean, so it's just a different idea of the dipoles. I got to get some branches cut down out here. And I got this big cottonwood tree. I froze up.
So are you gonna cut down some trees or?
Yeah, I got to cut down. There's a couple of big branches I got to get gone.
Hmm.
And everybody's all tied up with work right now. So I should have had it done in the wintertime.
Yeah, it's probably during storm season, those tree people are going to be pretty busy.
Yeah.
Well, you've got a chainsaw, don't you?
But I'm going to build this over the summer and see what happens.
Does the cobweb have some gain?
Yeah, they say it does. So I'm going to test it.
So where'd you get your instructions?
There was Reddit. Actually, there's a a forum, and some guy built a homebrew cobweb, and I can't remember what it was, but it was like I think it was eham.net.
Okay, and so he gave the dimensions and
Yeah, everything.
Everything.
Yeah, what you got to use and all that. So it's going to be a project.
so is it like Bill's antenna or?
Yeah.
Let's
see.
What's the design? Is it
It's square, Ken.
Yes. I'm going to try to share my screen. Hold on.
I don't know if you can or not.
Well, if I won't, I'll text Mark and see if he'll let me.
He almost fell out of his chair there.
You okay?
He can't hear you.
What's that now?
Mark can't hear you.
I'll call him in a second.
I don't know. There's a deal. If you drag your mouse down to the bottom, there's a deal that says share screen.
Yeah, give me 1 second.
Also, in the in the chat, you can put a link in there, and then I can click on it.
Mark! I'll put it in the chat.
You see that deal that says share screen down at the bottom?
Yeah, but it says it's disabled. So
Says
They
it's
have
disabled.
to, yeah, they have to allow you to do it. The
Right.
administrator has to allow you to do it.
Oh, mine doesn't say it's disabled.
Oh, well,
Maybe you're privileged.
yeah.
I
Well,
don't know.
if you can give a picture, right, from Google or whatever.
Yeah,
That
I'm
was
gonna click on it and just see what happens.
you can put an image on Discord.
Well, okay, it says host disabled participant screen sharing.
John, you can put a image on Discord. Go to Discord and just put a link or image, either one there.
I don't have.
Then on the other computer, I can click on it and look at it. Because I got Discord up on this other computer.
I've seen pictures of them, but I've never,
I don't remember what they look like.
well,
Yeah,
they
I'm
look kind of
working
like,
on-
if you thought of a hex beam, only a square one,
Yeah,
but I'm not sure. John, do the fiberglass rods bend up in that umbrella shape like a,
It's omnidirectional, so I put it up there. I don't know if you
I got it. I see it.
All right, there you go.
Well,
I'm incredibly slow.
it looks like
There we go.
it's made like a 2-element Yagi. Are those it's a X. Do you see it, Bill?
no?
Do you-
How are you looking at it?
okay, on the chat page. He put a link on the chat page.
Now that's the MFJ version, but I'm going to build my own.
Yeah. Go down to the bottom of the screen down there where it says chat
Yep.
and click on that. The chat page will come up and John put a link up.
Oh, okay.
Just click on that link and it'll bring it up.
Yeah, I guess rather than those rods that extend out being bent up, they're flat, aren't they? I
So
mean, it's,
is one end of that a driven element and the other end a director or reflector? And is it like a 2-element beam, or
It looks, well, hold on.
I mean, looking at the picture, you can't tell what the schematic.
Yeah, that's really bad. Let's see here. 20.
Oh, MFJ has created a set of half-wave dipole antennas folded into a square, sort of a cobweb antenna. There are 2 units that cover 10 through 20. $230 for MFJ's version of it.
Yeah.
Handle up to 300 watts.
260 handles like kilowatt and a half.
Say again?
They said by the 1836H, it's 259.95 that handles up to a kilowatt and a half. So
Well, that's not-
1.5.
Yeah, that's not much more money for a lot more power.
I heard their assembly was terrible though.
Says about
John,
nine,
you throw it
nine
up there again. I'm coming in late.
says it's about 9 foot by 10. Hello, Mike.
Howdy.
We're looking in the chat page. John put up a link to a cobweb antenna. And we're
Well,
looking at,
Since I came in late, I can't see the anything in the chat yet.
Here, hold on.
I don't understand that.
There you go.
Well, the chat's only goes to the participants that are online. And
Don't you participate?
so I see it now, John.
He reposted it just for you, Mike.
Yeah, thank you.
So
Now,
that's the MFJ version, but there is a homebrew you can do. So
Yeah, it looks like it would be reasonably easy to homebrew.
but I don't want to spend $300. So
So what's that part sticking out to the left?
I believe that's where the coax goes.
there's you can't see the radials that are running right there, but that's your connection for the actual coax. And then on the right hand side, it has spacers. It's actually like what am I trying to say? 2 wires on each band, and they're spaced.
You mean like a 2-element beam?
They're folded dipoles, and they're folded twice. What do you call that, Ken? A U?
I don't know.
Yeah. Just
Well,
looking at it, it looks like it would be easy to build, John.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna give it a go this summer. I don't know how much it take, but I'm gonna try it. Maybe I'll get up for field day. You don't have to hang. Go ahead.
Have you sourced any of the parts yet?
Fiberglass so far.
Ugh. I heard fiberglass is hard to come by.
Yeah, it's pretty raunchy.
What's in the little black box right in the center, I wonder?
I believe
It's probably a
that's where-
vellum.
Yes, that is 4-1. I think it is.
What?
No, hold on.
Your audio's not real solid, John.
Yeah, well, I got kids in there watching everything on the internet. It's tearing my latency up.
They're burning up your
Bandwidth.
band. There you go. There's a picture scrolling on down of one in the attic.
I've seen that.
I mean, they stream everything these days, and the internet's not very good. Well, I got out of the program here. But I was thinking about using this for field day instead of throwing wires up to a tree.
Yeah. Well, this will give you more bands too.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about, and it would be easy setup.
Yeah.
And the whole idea of it came from getting on a telescoping pole. So
Yeah.
if I, what a 33-foot telescoping pole. I mean, this last field day was a pain in the tuchus to get everything set up, and then
Well, I'll tell you what I used to do for field day. It's about a 20-foot aluminum tube, which was 2 inches in diameter. And I made a 20-meter inverted V.
okay.
And I could set that thing up and use the inverted V part for the guy wires. And I could get it set up and running really quick.
Right, but I want to run more than one band.
Yeah, I understand.
Another thing too is I was thinking about a vertical.
Yeah.
But
Verticals work good on low bands, but 20 meters and up, you don't necessarily need a vertical for that. But the low bands, you need a vertical so you get the low angle of radiation.
I guess my point is I don't want to throw freaking 5 wires into a tree.
No way. I understand that.
And so we did it last summer, and it took me 3 hours to do it. So,
Yeah. Yeah, it's a bummer. I agree.
and then get hit in the face with the the beanbag, stuff. So I was thinking that something that give me I think it's 2017, 15, and 10.
Well,
That's pretty good.
the vertical that Ken Sanborn makes, and he's going to have a demo at the next get the fireplace
Right,
Our
right. I think
station
it's a
get
DX
together.
Commander though.
Huh?
I think it's a DX Commander.
No, it's a homemade one,
Oh, it is.
similar to a DX Commander,
Okay.
which is verticals. You know, it's um, made like a fan dipole, but it's a fan vertical. And that would be easy to set up.
But also the Cobweb doesn't require any radials.
Yeah, that's true too.
So if I wanted to be on 40 or 80, I could have a wire. That's fine. That's one wire. But this is looking good for me as far as like just taking out in the field and setting up, as compared to trying to put 4 wires in the tree in a park.
Yeah, I understand. But of course, with the commander like vertical, you could just lay about 8 33-foot long radials on top of the ground and have your radial system. But I'm with you, for field day, it would be better not to have to mess with that. That's why I did the inverted V. Another thing you could do is set up an inverted V like I did with a trap dipole.
Okay.
You know, I wouldn't try to go 80 meters, mainly because on field day, you're not gonna work very many people on 80 meters, but you could do a trap dipole, you know, make an inverted.
Well, last year, 40, 20, 17, 15, and 10 were good for field day.
Yeah.
And we were not. It's May 3rd, right? So we're literally, what, 2 months out?
Yeah.
So, and setting up the campsite and all that is already a pain. It's work.
You sure
What's
you
that?
want to do field day?
What's that?
I say, are you sure you want to do field day?
Well, it involves children, and so.
Well, but you don't do it at the fire station. You do it on your own.
Yes, I do it on my own. I get my daughter out there to operate.
Actually, that's a safer deal, because I worry about all these transmitters on field day. If you're on 20 meters and some other person gets on 20 and transmits, and he's 50 feet away from you, it's going to overload your front end on your transceiver.
Right, but field day is the point you're supposed to go out and set up somewhere, you know, mobile. You know, what's that?
That's the idea, right?
Yeah, well, it's emergency communications, so you don't have commercial power. So,
but they set up field day and don't use commercial power like they do at the club, where they have several transmitters close together.
Right.
And I don't like that idea.
So I'm going to run 2 this year, and one's going to be CW with me, and the other one's going to be voice. So I'm going to try to get my daughter to do it right this year. So.
Is she getting interested in getting her license, or?
Oh, you know, it's one of those things. We're getting close, but we're not there yet. Make sense?
Yeah.
But it's more of motivation than it is doing it right. So.
Well, tech's not too difficult. Just
well, no, it's not. But you know, get 11-year-olds
to do anything, right?
Yes, sir. Just put away clean laundry. That's a win for us. So, yeah. I mean, she gets really excited about it, but when the metal meets the meat, I'm like, okay, you ready? No. I'm like, you gotta get over that. Gotta get over that. Gotta go. As a matter of fact, I'm sure she's not ready now. Let's see what. I asked her, I said, get ready for May, and May 5th is the next test session. We're not ready. Surprise.
Yeah, this Thursday, I think.
Yeah.
You thinking about, getting your extra class bill?
Well, I'm thinking about it. I've got the
Start doing
license
it.
manual and have been reading it a little bit. But I don't think I'm quite ready to take the test yet.
Mark Klein has a test study book that has the correct answers in it. And
Right, but it's a really good book too.
I personally think that is the way to study.
Yep.
Because you don't need a multiple choice question, because it puts wrong answers in your mind. Who wants to see 3 wrong answers and 1 good answer? I just want to see 1 good answer. That's all I want to study for.
Right.
Yeah, there's a website that does that too, and I don't remember the name of it.
Well, I know one, but it's like a test, but it has 4 answers and you have to pick the good answer, the right answer.
Well, yeah, there's
There's a
His
study
book
guide.
only shows the right answer.
yeah, there's one like that though that you're talking about that only shows
Oh, okay. That
that shows the right
never
answer.
heard of that.
Most of them show, it's multiple choice. Then you click on one and it tells.
Yeah.
It grades it when you get to the end, or
Yeah.
I don't know.
There's also flashcards on that site, I think. I can't remember what it was.
I've done that one, Bill, that you're talking about, where you go through there and pick, and at the end of it, it tells you you're wrong, ones you got wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hamradio.org is
Yes, that's it.
the one I like best, but it does show the multiple choice rather than just the single answer. But I did run across one that only showed the correct answer.
But Mark's got some great books, man. He's
Yeah,
really
it is. I think it was $5.
Good dude.
I bought it for Andrea, my daughter-in-law, and she studied with it, and she got
Yeah.
a general. She hadn't gone any further.
But definitely get with Mark. He'll lead you to victory. I mean, he'll get you right.
That's Mark Klein, or
Yeah, the section manager, man. He's a great guy. Great guy.
Well, I wouldn't say that.
Well, I mean, okay.
Yeah,
Mark's
he is.
he's a good man.
Yeah, he is.
And he's really he really helps people out, man. He really does. He does his work. I mean, I don't know how he does it, but he does a good job.
is that a volunteer, strictly just a volunteer position?
Yeah, and he's busy all the time too. He does a lot of stuff.
He doesn't get any pay or any.
I really do.
No, he doesn't.
What's that?
He doesn't get any pay.
No, it's all him. I'm telling you, the stuff that guy does is amazing. I think it's above and beyond.
Hey, Earl, that thing's looking pretty good. That's your new rotor you're working on?
Yeah, but it's got a, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Is my audio good? Okay, it's got some problems. What's happened is, I think either the gear's too thick, or this part of the housing is too thick, because it pinches the gear so it won't turn as well as it could. But these parts have been printed. I'm gonna make some adjustments to this. And we're having problems printing the second gear. So I wanted to show off a little bit what we're doing about it. I'm having to print some structural supports. I've never done this before, and I'm just sort of printing something and then making my mistakes and then moving on to the next mistake until I get it all figured out. Let me see if I can get it on a camera here and show you guys. Here it is. Okay, so we should there we go. So I'm having to print some supports. This is what it's going to look like when it gets to the printer. So you'll see some scaffolding in here. And what's happened is everything from melting the gear teeth, so I raised it up off the print bed so it wouldn't melt the teeth, that worked. But then the entire structure was too tall. And so as it moved along on the printer, parts of this down here got too hot and it sort of leaned to the side, if you will.
Yeah.
And the print head just started stringing out. I came home to a mess of spaghetti tonight.
Yeah.
And so I'm putting this little beam right here to try to support the whole structure so it won't lean over. And we'll see how well that goes.
Why are you printing it vertically rather than horizontally? Just out of curiosity.
That's a fair question, and I could go either way. I really could go either way. What I'm thinking about doing is actually printing it at a 45-degree angle so I can get the layers to be perpendicular. I think it was getting the layers to be perpendicular to the load that's applied to the gear, something like that. But no particular reason. I just thought I'd give it a try and see what happens.
Well, it certainly looks like an interesting project.
Yeah, he's doing good.
I thought I had put a link up there on the SCARS group, but I do keep up with the day-to-day happenings of the project over at Echo Charlie. If you see a big HH logo, that stands for my household, which is Happy House. If you see the big HH logo, then you're at my Facebook page. But it's under the name Echo Charlie, which are the initials of my name, Earl Claus. But all kinds of fun stuff, encountering problems every single day, solving each problem as we go. In fact, I'm already thinking about another version of this entire system that uses commercial thrust bearings. The fun part is finding the thrust bearings of the right sizes and then redefining the entire slewing drive to support those sizes. I've even thought about going with metal gears, but I'm having a hard time finding metal gears like this main slewing drive gear. I'm having a hard time finding one of these things that's under $100.
Yeah, that's too expensive.
The worm gear we're having problems with. I'll show you. And I'm just going to have to completely redesign the worm gear. It can't handle the shearing forces right there at the end. So I'm thinking about just making this in two pieces, where this one is printed completely differently, where the printing lines are perpendicular with the shaft itself, and sort of mated up with the worm gear using a kind of a connector, if you will, format. But they even designed this original slew drive without any bearings here on the worm drive shaft, which kind of bothered me. So there's a lot of friction in here, and you can see this is just done with my bare hand. I'd hate to see what happens if I put a load on this thing, right? Because it's just going to twist that shaft right off, right? If I could do that with my hands, imagine what some torque's going to do to that. So anyway, that's where we are. Just trying to get the mechanicals figured out.
What about putting an aluminum shaft through that plastic worm gear?
That was an idea. I thought about even taking like an M3 screw and putting it through there. Like maybe something like that.
What's the pitch on that gear?
I have no idea. I'm so brand new to this. I don't even understand the mathematics of gear ratios. And you asked me what the pitch is on the gear. I have no idea. I haven't even, the worm gear is the part that I haven't deep dived at all.
Yeah, those threads look really narrow, like it almost doesn't even have a pitch to them. It looks like they're almost vertical. Is that just an optical illusion, or are they actually just really thin?
Let's see if we can actually answer the question. Let's go into the drawing itself and take a look. Let's see, it's going to be the X-axis slew. Let's hide all this other stuff. You don't need that. This is what you're wanting to look at.
Yeah, that's almost looks like a 30-degree.
Yeah, it does. Well, it looks to me like you got your work cut out for you, Earl.
Okay, as far as the gear goes, like I said, I haven't deep dived the worm gear at all, so I have no idea. But yeah, it's a lot of work.
Yeah, what's
It's a-
the outside diameter of that?
Of this,
Yeah,
let's see if we can find out. $20 millimeter.
have you got a conversion of that into inches?
Times, I want to say 2.54.
Yeah, I'll look it up.
Arthur, calm down. Arthur, calm down.
Well, it's 2.54 centimeters per inch.
Heather, will you please close my door?
There's two stations from Belarus is on 30 meters right now, calling CQ. Belarus is that country right above Ukraine.
Yeah. Essentially
So-
part of Russia.
Yeah,
So was that a little over 3/4 inch?
No, it's you did say 40 millimeter, right?
20 millimeter diameter.
Oh, 20.
Here, let's get the.
Yeah, that's
It's pretty tiny.
3/4 inch.
that's a little less than a quarter inch. I got a caliper here that I can,
Yeah, I'm doing the same thing here. I'm grabbing a caliper
Yeah,
and putting it on there.
0.787.
that seems too big for 20 millimeters. Oh, boy.
It's 20 millimeter diameter.
Oh, yeah. 20 millimeters is pretty big.
Well, my thought was that depending on your other gears, you could make that out of aluminum and just machine it on a lathe. Probably wouldn't take 30 minutes.
20
If I had-
millimeters.
If I had one.
20
Well,
millimeters is almost 8/10 of an inch.
cutting the that spiral gear on there would be a little complex on the lathe. I mean, it's certainly doable. If you know how to cut threads on the lathe, then you could cut that spiral, but
Another option would be to go to a version 2 of the entire system and get a worm gear that's all metal and see if I can find a slew gear. Just keep looking for a slew gear and of course some.
and this is a rotator
needle
for a
bearings.
beam, is it?
This is going to be a dual axis rotator for
Tracking the satellite.
a Yagi. Here.
I assume something like a 23 centimeter
You got it.
or okay.
Up in the microwave region.
So this is what we're looking at, is building this device. And that's an Arrow 2 antenna mount.
So has anybody built one of these before, or is this your own design?
The slew drive itself came from a fella on Thingiverse by the name of Bost Wickinator. And I took his design and just kept working at it till I could get it into a dual drive configuration where it's dual axis. And I had trouble finding a round extrusion, so I had to design the extrusion. But the idea is to be able to allow me to rotate, have a generic system where I can configure it however I wanted, to be able to rotate whatever I want to rotate, and at least try to adhere to some kind of T-slot standard for people.
Well, it certainly looks like an interesting project.
So like anything, going from conception to, practically building it, that's the fun part.
Yeah, I know. It always takes.
So is your plan, is this by building it the way you are, just going to be a prototype and you're going to end up doing it in metal?
My hope is that this winds up eventually becoming the final product. I'm trying to do something that other ham radio operators would be able to print off on their printers.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Who can afford to do stuff in metal, but they have lots of printers, right? So everything from these screw holes having big tolerances. They're trying to stick with the same hardware, making sure that there's hardware in there that they can work with, like a hardware library, so they can make their own modifications and make their own changes. Just let people have fun with it. Let them remix it and do whatever they want. But if I can pull this thing off, oh my gosh, the knowledge gained from it allows me to work with an actual slewing driver, like the real ones, the metal ones. And if I can find a decent sized dual axis slewing drive, I want to take an Explorer 14, a high gain Explorer 14, and put it on there. And by that time, I'll have the software worked out for rotating it, because this becomes the prototype for working out that. That's the actual goal. This is just the fun project to get me there.
There is a little bit of moon bounce activity using 1296, using 23 centimeters. Not much.
Earl, are you in Norman or Oklahoma City?
Oklahoma City. I'm glad you asked that. I need to change my address with the FCC if I haven't already.
Yeah, it was showing on Young's, but the map showed you in way southeast Norman.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm not in Norman. I voted by selling my house. I didn't like what the city council was up to down there.
I was looking to see how close you were to me since I've got a lathe and threading tools, but
Ah,
I've been so busy here lately that it would be difficult to take on a project like that.
I thought I seen you at the fire station a while ago, Carl.
You did.
You're in two places at one time, huh?
Yeah, well, my mother, who I moved into Norman, had the Mother's Day dinner tonight instead of actual Mother's Day.
Yeah.
And after I got finished there, I discovered that I left my, what is it? Yeti drink cup. So I had to make a trip back, and
Yeah.
which put me 30 minutes behind. And so the fire station is right on the way in between her place and my place.
Yeah.
So I just stopped in and said hi and dumped off a load of cookies that I picked up at the dinner.
Well, I didn't get one.
yeah, where's mine?
That's, I hate that.
I hate it worse.
Yeah, Earl, I've got a indexing head that came from Tinker, or I've got a couple of them that cut all the teeth exactly that how they need to be cut.
Okay.
Distance wise, you still have to get a cutter to cut the proper tooth on it, but
I think one method that might work is to try to find a off-the-shelf steel gear and worm gear, and then build the rest of it around it.
That's exactly what I was thinking about doing. It seems to me that that would be the most reliable way. Because the housing is easy to design.
you know what the drive ratio is on that gearing?
No, in fact, the gearing ratio is something I haven't counted the teeth. I just haven't done anything like that on. I've been leaving those as is. But I know I'm going to have to deal with that because the stepper motor can only go so fast, and the ISS moves pretty quick. So I may have to completely redesign all this.
I use a Yaesu 5500 rotor, and
Right on.
I can easily track the satellites and the International Space Station with that. So you might look up the spec on that and see what its speed of rotation is. That might give you an idea.
Okay, that'll help. And at the moment, I'm trying to figure out how the body of this slewing drive got so out of whack from its sketch. These are both supposed to be centered on each other.
Whose CAD software is that you're using? Is that something that came with your printer, or?
No, that's actually Autodesk Fusion 360. I went ahead and put out the money for the subscription to it so that I
Oh,
can at
really?
least.
You can use it. You can use it for free for indefinitely.
Well, I decided to go ahead and put the money into it. These guys are doing a great job, right? I mean, guys like me who are trying to learn this, and they actually provide training courses for it. So, also I went and got a Udemy, I think that's what it's called, subscription, and they've got some training courses up there. That's how I learned how to do what I'm doing now, is from that training course. And it just sort of just been learning as I go, just like ham radio. Okay, race.
Now that CAD software is a fairly steep learning curve.
Yeah, I use Eagle to design print circuit boards, and you can also use this program that he's using in conjunction with Eagle software.
I haven't used the Eagle yet, but I think that came with this.
Yeah.
I'm going to wind up using that for another project. I've got an analog audio circuit I need to work on, but I'm just not at a point in the schedule where I'm ready to do that. Yeah, there it is. I've never even run this. This is the first time I've run this software up. I have no idea how to use it. So much more to learn. Now, I remember P-Spice out at Tinker. People were using P-Spice. And that was something that I was looking forward to, was getting in there and learning how to use Spice.
So when you buy Fusion 360, do you buy just a year subscription, or how does that work?
Well, let's take a look at it. See if I kept a record of it.
Don't forget, we can see everything on your screen.
I know. There's
Okay.
nothing secretive here.
I can see it, but I can't read it.
Same here.
Yeah, normally I would put my licensing information in here, but I didn't this time. So
Well,
I'm pretty sure it's an annual subscription, but I don't remember.
I think you're right. It's probably annual. But they have a real liberal policy on letting you use it. I downloaded it and looked at it and decided that was one more than I wanted to take on to learn.
I'm gonna go change the 40-meter band. I bet it's jumping by now.
How do the spotting programs, the DX spotting programs work?
Well, I don't use any of them, Bill, but a lot of people do. But my experience was that somebody can spot something and put it up there on the internet, and then you go there to look and you don't hear it, because if you're talking on the higher frequencies, you know, you could hear a station in Europe on 10 meters at my house and you not hear it at your house. So that spotting doesn't really help that much on the higher bands, but down on 80 and even 40 and 160, it kind of makes sense. And then their antenna might favor a certain direction that yours doesn't. But it could be helpful, but I don't use them. I've tried to use them.
I, on the other hand, use it all the time whenever I'm doing DX. And yeah, for typically 20 and 40, well, just the stuff that there's a lot of people on sideband during the day.
It might be useful to you, Bill, but it's not to me because I do mostly digital modes and I see live on the screen that the real thing, not coming from a third party, displays on my screen every minute.
Yeah.
But if you're doing voice like you are, it might be useful to you.
What's the one you use, Carl?
I've got a couple of them loaded on the computer. You know, I'm gonna have to look. Yeah, I'm just gonna have to look.
Okay.
DX Watch and DX Heat.
Okay, got it.
And I typically use DX Watch the most. And you can set up
Filters.
where it just shows you, you know, like 20 meters voice or 40 meters voice. And
Yeah, you can set up filters for about whatever band you want or mode.
Okay.
Carl, you do any digital mode?
no, I don't.
Huh?
No, I don't, but I probably will. Whenever I get my the last 2 countries that I need for my DXCC.
What? Oh, you need 2 more countries?
Yeah.
I just completed and have the certificate for the.
Oh, yeah. I was going to congratulate you on that. I saw it on the SCARS page. Yeah, congratulations. That's
Many years' work.
that's quite an accomplishment.
Yeah. Over 100 countries on 8 bands.
So did you get the last few countries you were looking for there?
Yeah, I got it and already got my certificate, got it framed and hanging on the wall.
Wow.
I needed I needed one of them to confirm on 80 meters before I could apply for it. And I finally got one to confirm. And then after I applied for it, 4 or 5 of them confirmed. So now I've got about 100. And I was sweating getting that last number 100. And now I've got about 120 on 80 meters, but I haven't really been working 80 meters much now. I've been trying to get some of the countries that I don't have on some of the higher bands, like the ones I worked today. Oh, I told Bill, but Carl, I worked Sri Lanka today, and what else did I work today? Oh, I worked Canby in Africa, and
On which mode?
on FT8 on 15 meters. So, you know, my the software program that I use kind of filters them, and I have all kinds of DX show up on there, but the ones that I need, ones that I don't have, a country that I've not worked before on that band shows up in yellow, shows its call sign and in yellow. So I know that's the one I need. And so here lately, that's about all I work is a country that I don't have unless someone calls me. And frequently people call me after I get through working one of these countries. So I work them. I figure they might need Oklahoma for their Worked All States award. So I'll go ahead and work them. And whenever I'm working toward New Zealand, Australia, or Indonesia, Malaysia, there'll be 20 Japanese stations call me. I have to ignore them. There are so many JAs on the air.
What time of the day are they on mainly?
And in the evening, whenever I start working toward the Australia area, and that's when the JAs are on. But you do hear them in midday too. I'm using that unipole antenna, and it's unidirectional.
Is the unipole, is that the one that's got the cones?
No, it's if you go to my website, there's a picture of it on there. It's a homemade. I'm using 30-foot piece of 4-inch diameter irrigation tubing, and it's got 4 drop wires that come down from the top out about 1.5 feet from the driven element. And the bottom of this vertical is grounded. That's the good thing about it, which means it's less susceptible to lightning strike. And you feed it from the drop wires. And what it does, it raises the radiation point up. It makes the antenna more efficient. And another advantage in a unipole is you don't have to have such a extensive ground radial system on it. It's only got 8 radials, and the longest one on it's about 50 feet, and the rest of them's probably around 30 feet. And I chewed one of them up, which it's probably only about 8 feet, while I was taking a stump out. So I probably need to fix that, but working okay like it is.
You said you got your tri-bander hooked back up, right?
Yeah, it's got a problem though. Haven't been able to use it. Coax is intermittent on it. So I think it's probably a coax connector up on the tower.
Oh, good.
So that's not going to be fun. And it's LMR 600.
Oh, Lord.
And it's got an N connector on it.
So you're going to have to take that coax down probably to re-terminate that, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm going to have to, and it goes inside the tower. So, and
Oh,
it's really
geez.
stiff. You know, it's pretty stiff cable.
Yeah.
And I got to thread it back down and do it on the ground. And then thread it back up there and hook it back up. So,
Well, you could tie it on the outside of the tower. I mean,
yeah, but I got all the other coaxes on the inside. So,
so when you say on the inside, you don't mean on up through a piece of tubing. You just mean on the interior of the
3 legs.
of the 3 legs.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, that's not too bad. I was thinking about trying to run it up a piece of pipe or something, but
No.
yeah, I ran mine on the inside too also, but it was
Yeah.
really easy to do because it was laying down, and
Yeah.
I got some of those tie wraps from DX Engineering that are supposed to be UV
Yeah.
proof.
Yeah.
And
Hey, I got some tie wraps that you can reuse. It's got a little lever on it. You can push it and take it off. And them things are working good.
Good.
I don't know if I've got one in here or not. Well, I don't have a new one, but I got this little bitty one that's cut off, but I can demo it. See? Push it in, but you can push this little lever and take it back apart.
Yeah, cool.
How's that, man?
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
Got that on Amazon. Yeah. 40 meters is a good band for the evening. So, people that work in the daytime, they can get on 40 in the evening, 40 and 80 and 30. But, 30 is not a voice band. It's a digital band, CW or digital mode. Right now I'm looking at 40 meters and it's busy.
So you can do FT8 then on 30 meters, right?
Yeah. And it's a good band in the evening. I got over 100 countries there a whole lot quicker than I did on 80 meters. You got your, did you ever get your certificate from Logbook of the World?
Yeah, I uploaded them. You should have confirmed.
Yeah, that's right. I think we did that last week. I think I mentioned that you showed up on there.
Yeah.
So in combination with the amateur contact log and that, you should be in good shape now to be able to keep track of who you've worked.
Yeah. That I went in and bought that guy's program.
Yeah.
And it's pretty well done. He did a nice job on it.
You can sort really nice with it down there too. You can click on the band down there and then click search and it'll show all the contacts on that band. Or where it says country over on the right side, you can type in the country and then hit search and it'll show all your contacts on that country.
Okay.
So
yeah, I haven't investigated all the features.
Yeah, there's a few drop down windows down there that you can search with. So you was able to upload your contacts to Logbook of the World and then download them back, and the program shows that they've been uploaded and downloaded and will show the confirmed ones. So I should be showing up on yours as a confirmed contact. Did you see me on there? That we was confirmed?
I don't guess I've looked where you're talking about. Or
in your logging program, if you type my call sign in, it should come up in there.
Okay. I don't know.
And where the call sign goes, just type my call sign in, and then up at the top of the program, there's a search button.
Okay. Yeah, I learned how to log a QSO, but I haven't really played around with it enough to know what all it will do.
We was on 10 meters, right?
Yep. 10
so
meters.
You can on the band, where whenever you log it, you know, you put the call sign, and I think it automatically puts a time in. Then you can click on the mode and the band, where you can go down to the band part and put 10 meters in, and then click search, and it'll show all of your contacts on 10 meters. And you can scroll down through them. I don't know how many contacts you've made on 10, but that's one way you can look.
Yeah, just a few. I made, I think, some South American contacts on 10, Brazil or or Venezuela or something. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Ken, did you say you got a VU Victor today?
Yeah. I'll give you his call sign. You can look him up.
Because I just noticed that VU4W is FT8 right now from Andaman and
Oh, yeah.
Nicobar Islands.
That's an island off of coast of India. So it's pretty close to Sri Lanka, which is where I work today.
Yeah, he's on FT8 right now.
Yeah. What band? Hey, it's a D expedition.
Yeah, it's 14090.
He's on. Okay, gotcha. It's the expedition. It's going to be there for a couple of weeks. I don't usually try to work them when they first start. Today's is their first day of the D expedition, and there's 1 million people trying to call him. So I'll wait a few days before I try to work him. I've worked that country before, but only on 10 meters. I wouldn't mind getting him on some of the other bands.
I can.
Yeah.
Where's Sam tonight? I see you got his QSL card.
Oh, yeah. You see it on the back there on the.
Yeah, it's behind you on the keyboard leaning up.
I was going to tell him about that, but he didn't show up tonight.
I was going to send you one. I got yours in the mail. It's sitting right here, but I'm just too slow. I got too many irons in my fire here.
I know what you mean. I'm not no hurry. You know, I didn't expect y'all to even send me one. I got cards, and I don't send out cards much anymore. Everything is logbook of the world.
Yeah.
So I got to use them up somewhere before I kick the bucket.
You don't have a box for Please QSL, so I didn't know if you wanted one or not. But
I'm just saying it's not mandatory.
Mine are not as pretty as yours.
Well, I used to do wildlife photography. That's why
That's a really good shot on that QSL card that you sent me.
Oh,
my wife is an artist, and she really thought that was well composed and really good shot.
Yeah, I had to work on that.
I suppose you have that available where I can see it on the camera.
I have one. I have a whole bunch of them.
I'll see you guys next time. I'm gonna go see what's for dinner.
Okay, Mike.
See you, Mike.
Good talking to you.
All righty.
Oh, I like that.
That's taken at Texas Gulf Coast.
Yeah, didn't you say that made the cover of a magazine?
No, not this one, but I did have a front cover shot on Outdoor Oklahoma. It was had a lot of pictures published in Outdoor Oklahoma, and had an article in Birders World, a bluebird article. had some few shots in Texas Magazine and some more, but I had a front cover shot of a prairie dog that was taken down at Wichita Wildlife Refuge. I'll show it to you. I think I got the magazine over here.
While he's looking for the magazine, the PLA with carbon fiber came in, the filament carbon fiber in it. And we're waiting for a few other small parts to arrive, and once they come in, once I get these housings and ears finalized, then I'll switch over and see what we can do about printing some stuff in that carbon fiber and try to lighten things up a little bit. So earlier in the meeting, somebody was asking, why aren't you printing this stuff flat, like the gear, right? So I created a big old raft, and I'm going to give that a shot, and let's see what it's like to try to print this way with a big raft underneath it.
Yeah, I asked that. I think I was just thinking maybe it would keep it from sagging like you were talking about.
Right. And I thought, hey, wouldn't that be a neat trick to try with all the parts? At least with the these bigger parts. Let's see what happens. See what it looks like in all the layers.
Finally found it.
Oh yeah, I like that. Spinning support where it's needed. One of the problems I've been having is with this trough that's in here. This is the bearing race, and it's been getting filled with this kind of support material. And by flipping it upside down like this, there's no support material to print inside the bearing race. So the bearing race should be nice and clean. Oh, I like this a lot. I'm glad I came into the meeting tonight. Okay, so the support material is the light blue stuff, and there is zero support material in the bearing race. I am so happy with this. Thank you for suggesting that we go flat with the gear, because that's what gave me the idea for this. Oh, that's going to be smooth. Love it. Ken, did you find what you were looking for?
Yeah, I found it. That's a
Oh, nice.
front cover of Outdoor Oklahoma. Outdoor Oklahoma doesn't pay very much. They paid me $400 for that shot.
Well, it's better than a kick in the seat of the pants.
Yeah.
I mean, you would have taken the shot anyway, so.
Oh, yeah. This is a honeybee shot, a close-up of a honeybee nectar off of a flower. And
Wow.
this is the inside back cover of Outdoor Oklahoma. I had a lot of things published in Outdoor Oklahoma.
Was that taken with a long lens, or did you
No,
just
that
get
was
really
taken with
close?
a macro lens.
Really, really close.
Yeah, it was I have a 200 millimeter f4 macro lens that will focus down to 1:1, and I had a flash. I used a flash with a ring flash, and I was sitting right down in an alfalfa field, and there was honeybees all around me.
Well,
They
They
didn't
were
bother
more-
me, and I tried not to step on them.
yeah, they were more interested in that alfalfa than they were you.
Yeah. I have a hummingbird shot too. I think it was a back cover shot. That hummingbird shots are pretty hard to get.
Yep, they don't stay in one spot long.
I did a lot of bird photography then. I don't see it.
Carl, I tried to call you last week and I couldn't come up with your phone number, your email address, or anything.
That's interesting. I gave you a call Wednesday morning after 10 o'clock, and that I didn't get anybody, and I happened to be in the area, so I drove past your house, and I didn't see any pipe out front.
Oh, well, it was alongside on the west side of the house.
Okay.
Well, actually, it probably been moved by then. What number did you call? Do you remember?
Yeah, let me, I'll send you, well, I'm going to mute and I'll just call you on the telephone.
Well, that's okay. You've got my email, or
Yeah, I'm going to put it in chat.
So, Bill, have you tried getting on 40 meters in this time of day and do some DX?
well, I don't have a 40-meter antenna yet. I never.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. Yeah.
Never have put up anything yet.
20 is the lowest you can go.
Yeah. I still plan on doing that.
Inverted V.
Inverted V, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my phone number, Carl.
Yeah, that's the one you gave me.
Okay. Yeah, the bad thing about that is that's my cell phone. And unless you're in the cell phone, I generally don't answer it. I should have given, I've got a home phone that's hooked up to a recorder, and so you can always, leave a message on the recorder and I'll return the call. That number, if you want to write it down, is,
Well, why don't you put it in chat?
oh, well, okay.
I already know it.
Yeah, I don't think there's anybody on here that's gonna cause a problem. It's 321-2703. I'll try chat here.
Well, Bill, it's not me you gotta worry about it, but it's all the people I'm gonna give your phone number to.
Yeah, well, anybody that wants that phone number has already got it.
including some that don't need it,
Right.
like the phone calls you get.
That's why I let the answering machine answer it.
Yeah. I got one today and nobody there. Phone company needs to make it a little bit easier so that they can, if you get one you don't like, you can push one button on your phone and block it.
Yeah, but they keep changing their numbers too fast. I can do that with my home phone.
Yeah,
I can block numbers, but I gave up on that a long time ago. It doesn't do any good. The people you want to block, just they change their numbers daily.
I don't get very many of those calls, but they're definitely annoying.
Well, I just quit answering them and let on that home phone. It's an IP phone, really. It's not a AT&T phone,
Yeah,
but it works just like a home phone, except you can't see any names. All you see is numbers.
yeah,
And the people that I have in the directory on that phone, their name will show up. But if they're not in the directory, I just let the answering machine
yeah.
answer it. And I pretty much do the same thing on my cell phone too, actually. So to direct message, I just type in the message and hit what?
Enter.
Just hit enter.
Yeah.
Okay, there it goes. See that?
Yeah. Yeah. I got it. I've already got it in my phone.
Okay. So that's really the best way to get a hold of me, because I don't even have my cell phone on all the time. I'm kind of like Ken. If I leave the house, I have it on, or if I have it on sometimes around the house and sometimes I don't. But the phone with the recorder on it, the number I just gave you, is on 24 hours a day. And if somebody leaves a message, maybe a day or so before I listen to it, but I do get around to listening to the messages, returning calls if it's somebody the good thing about it is if they're, if it's solicitations or numbers that you don't want to talk to, they generally don't leave a message, they just hang up. So
So you're getting close to having 100 countries, Carl?
Yep. I've got 98.
Yeah. The more you get, the harder it gets.
And I've got about 50 more that
Unconfirmed.
unconfirmed.
Are you using that amateur contact log? What logging program are you using?
Using QRZ, E-log,
Okay.
and of course, just sending it everything from there to Logbook of the World.
Yeah. Well, the only thing I use is Logbook of the World. They're the ones that give out the certificates that I'm interested in. And then I use the amateur contact log for all my logging. And it is really handy.
guys, I think I'm going to drop off here. It's
Yeah, me too.
we've been on a couple hours here, and I think I'm going to say adios, and everybody have a good evening.
All right, Bill, we'll see you next time.
Cheers, Bill.
If you need
Okay.
anything, holler.
Okay, I will. Thanks, Ken. I appreciate the help.
All right. We'll see you,
Yeah.
Carl.
Ciao.
Talk to you next week.
Okay. So Earl, that printer you're using prints in a straight line.
Yeah, it's one of these on a conveyor belt.
So you can't do any rotational printing.
Not really. It depends on what do you mean by rotational.
Like on your gears where you'd lay it a layer at a time in a circle instead of a layer
yeah.
at a time, like a slice of the gear, that it would be in a circular shape.
It would be possible. There's
so that it would look like it was laminated.
yeah, I'm thinking about what you're saying. What I'd have to do is set the gear model at a 45-degree angle to print head. If I do that, then I can run the model through an add-on in the slicer called Arc. I think it's called Arcwell. It'll take every place where it thinks it's aligned, if it's consistent with an actual arc, it will convert it to arcs. And so, to answer your question, it would be possible to do it. I just have to tweak the position of the model as it's being printed. So the answer is yes, it can be done. And that's a good idea. I think that since I'm going to have two of these gears, maybe I can do that and see if we can come up with a cleaner model and see if I can get the lines to be perpendicular to the lines of force. If I do it that way.
Yeah, if you could make them where they were laminated, like a flat plate, one right on top of each other until you made the whole gear, that would be much stronger.
Yeah.
Than building it by layers across the gear.
Yeah. I'll have to come up with a new custom wrap for that one that's set at 45 degrees to the gear, and make sure that the bottommost part of the gear is about maybe a centimeter to 2 centimeters above the build plate. What I found is after you've got a print job that's been on there for about 12 hours, the bottommost layers start to melt a little bit. That's what caused me to want to lift the models up off the build plate so they can cool properly. But I like your idea. I think that's completely doable. And when I get in here tomorrow night, that's probably what I'll do is just come in here and set up a new raft in the model that's 45 degrees to everything, and just go ahead and set a new gear in motion on the printer. Yeah, it's a good idea. I mean, I've already got 2 good ideas from this. And now that I think about it, but I separate the worm gear from the shaft and print just the worm gear without the shaft, I think we're going to wind up printing at the same kind of 45-degree angle. I think we can get a stronger gear that way. The shaft is going to have to be printed at a completely different angle then, so I can eliminate the shear breaking that I'm seeing.
Did you say earlier that you can't print with metal filament?
Not with this current setup. Any of these belt printers, the limitation is the belt. the heater can get hot enough. You can drop, this is a fully metal hot end. If I put a different nozzle on this one, I think this is a brass nozzle. If I put a different nozzle on here, I can get to the heat that I need to be able to print all kinds of stuff. But the build plate itself, it's awesome, except it's got this big it's got this big conveyor belt that can only handle up to so much heat. And the printer itself, this one is rated up to 240 degrees C, which is not hot enough to print the materials I want to print in. Now, you can print in some metal filaments. Those metal filaments are stupidly expensive. Oh my God. I'm not willing to spend $300 for a kilogram of filament. I'm just not willing to spend that much money. But what I can do is I can print in carbon fiber. And so the idea is that sometime in the future, go buy a used printer, do a few minor upgrades to it, like a traditional 3D printer, and then I can use that to print some things in carbon fiber ABS. At least it can handle the higher heat from being out in the Oklahoma weather. But this particular printer is about to receive an upgrade where I can print in carbon fiber PLA. But, you know, I wish I could get at the higher heats, but the belts just aren't there yet. Especially for printing metal. Oh my God, it'd be so awesome to print metal. Because then I'd be able to print the gears. And then I'd have to figure out, you know, the shrinkage, the scaling for the shrinkage. But I would so love to print something in a metal filament and then we'll take it to the oven here in the house and just anneal it. And I'm not completely certain, but I think that they're running them through some kind of an acetone bath to get rid of the plastic that's in it. Not exactly sure. I've never actually seen somebody explain the process of how they're doing the sintering and annealing of no, what do they call that? There's the sintering part, which is I think is the application of heat, and then there's the other part where the debonding, where they get the plastic out of there. I just don't know how they're doing that. I'm pretty sure they're putting in some kind of solvent bath.
Hmm.
But how hard could it be to take a gear, a 3D printed gear, and drop it down in a little container with some acetone and put a freaking vibrator on it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not familiar with the process, but
I'm just trying to think about what would melt, you know, the synthetic material in between all that metal powder. So I'm pretty sure they're using some kind of metal powder. I haven't even tried annealing anything yet. I've been reading about it. But at the moment, just because I'm prototyping all this stuff, I'm not willing to put the time into it yet. When I get closer to production parts, I'll consider annealing. But I really don't think I'm going to have a need for that much strength. Once I get this worm gear straightened out, I think we're going to be good. Because all the prints I've been doing of these main gears, they're pretty sturdy. And all I'm trying to do is rotate a little handheld Yagi.
yeah, there's actually quite a bit of force on worm gears, and it's not so much the gear turning the other gear. It's when it's stopped, that is your brake. And so all the leverage applied is stopped right on the teeth of the gear, your spiral gear, and whatever tooth or two teeth that it's sitting on.
Would you say that that's a failed print?
Yeah, probably so.
I never did any, like I said, I haven't deep dived this worm gear yet. And I'm looking at the model this guy used. I just thought, this is kind of light. Why is this thing snapping in so easily? And so I finally just took the snips and cut that sucker right open. And now I see why it's been failing. It's hollow inside.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
So me thinks I'm gonna have to go and make a whole new worm gear. If anything, I think I can build out parts of the model. I'm gonna have to redo that worm gear anyway. I'm gonna split it up into multiple models. But I'll think about what it takes to get a machine screw in there to give it some strength. It shouldn't be too hard to do this. But I have to figure out how I'm going to match everything up. Once I get that straightened out, I think we'll be good.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
This is how the guy did it. He actually figured out the dimensions for slipping it onto the stepper shaft. I give him a lot of credit. This guy did a lot of work. He figured out a lot of stuff. I just had to improve the tolerances on it. He actually got it to fit.
You know, I guess you could put some webbing on the interior of that gear.
Oh, I'm gonna solid fill that whole thing. I'm gonna go back to his drawing, and this is the 3D model. This is what the guy created, and I think maybe he didn't actually look at the inside of it. But I will. I'll go back in and I'll just put a new body inside that thing and just fill that up.
Yeah, I think it looks like that the intersection of where your teeth come together is where you're going to have the problem.
Now, if you look real carefully, I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but right there, there's a hole. Let me see if I can get it at the right angle where you can see it. You might see a little light shining through.
Yeah, I can see it.
I saw that in the print and I'm going, why am I seeing a hole? Now we know why. It's hollow. But yeah, I'll redo that. And when I print it, some guy went out there and was on the YouTube was testing printing worm gears at different angles, and he likes printing it at a 45-degree angle. So I'll give it a try and see what it looks like. I'm more concerned about getting the strength of this thing improved, but yeah, lots of problems with it, right? So let's hear it for destructive testing. Love it.
Yeah.
All those folks out there that are afraid of spending a little bit of their hard-earned cash, like none of this is free, right? That's all completely wasted material. But you gotta put your money where your mouth is, you know? You gotta break it to find out what's wrong with it. I was watching some deal about Elon Musk the other day. He had a documentary of him getting people up, what it took to get them up to folks up to the space station, from the origins of Falcon all the way up to people boarding the space station on his from his spaceship. And it was a crazy ride for these guys. Have you seen this thing?
No, I haven't. I'm familiar with him doing that, but I didn't watch any videos about it.
One of these days, when I'm lucky enough to start teaching at the college, like when they retire. I'm going to get that video and present it in class because it's a fantastic study of how destructive testing got people into space. These guys they knew stuff was going to blow up. That was Elon Musk's deal. He knew things were going to break, but you got to just keep throwing money at it and find out what breaks each time in order to make improvements to it. How do you know what to fix if you don't know what's broken? And ever since I saw that documentary and really thought about, for days, I thought about his strategy. And that's when I said, you know what? Let's stop holding back on this little 3D printing project. Let's break almost every part that comes out of there. I want to know what's wrong with it. And that's exactly what's been going on. I've got a box in here filled with broken parts. Just filled with broken parts from destructive testing. Failed prints, broken prints.
Too bad you can't melt that down and make it back into, put it through some dyes and make it back into a filament.
I might hang on to some of it. I thought about that. I've got the equipment where I might be able to pull that off. But this is what happened to the last gear that was on print for the last day. This is the one that was leaning over. There's the birds. I came in and found this little bird's nest waiting for me.
Yeah.
And this is how close it got to the end of the print.
Oh, man.
Oh, Lordy. But you see all this infill that's in here, all that support material?
Right.
Look at all that.
In the bearing range, yeah.
So I'm still working on how I might be able to make improvements to this, even if it means splitting the gear in half and super gluing two halves together. I got to find some way that this is going to be another thing to tackle, is how to get rid of that support material out of the bearing race. I'm pretty sure that the idea of printing with one side, printing it flat like this, I'm absolutely certain that I can get one side completely clean of any of this material. But I don't know, man. It's a struggle to try to get rid of that support material when it's not needed. Because even when I remove it, I still get sections of support material that I want to have to take a Dremel to it. Anytime I have to do post-production work on something, it's wasted time that I could be spending working on something else. And I look at all this support material and I could see that see how it's beating up? It's gotten too hot. Well, I can try to get all that out of there, but it's still going to leave stuff behind. This is a spudger. I got this from iFixit. This has apparently this material that they make the spudger out of seems to work for getting this crap out.
Yeah, it looks like it's just popping right up out of there.
There it is. So it's actually physically attached right in here. So it's going to take forever to get this little section out. I'm going to have to use some other tools, and I would wind up using a Dremel to get the rest of it out. But fortunately for these little bearing races like this, with their curved edges, that was just sort of a thought, like, why am I not getting the bearings down inside a little concave trough? I gave it a try, and I actually did it to this, to the drive that's in here, and it worked out pretty good. It's just the issue with the housing pinching. In fact, what you guys watched me preparing was the fix to that problem. So it's not, so the housing isn't pinching down on that gear. It was a choice of either fixing the housing or making this part thinner.
What kind of bearings are you using?
6 millimeter stainless steel bearings. And they fit just fine. The drive is a little bit quieter with them, but I'm not satisfied with the motors. These little stepper motors, I can stop them from turning. If I hold the gear with just my fingers, I can cause the steppers to stop turning, and I'm not real happy with that level of torque. And I'm so inexperienced at the mechanical part of this that I'm not exactly sure what the solution is.
Well, really, there's just one. If you've got gear reduction.
So if I do gear reduction, are we sacrificing speed?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so then probably I need, when I get back into the electronics part of this project, I got to find out from my code, from other people's, studying other people's code, why my steppers aren't going faster than I think they should be. Let me see if I have a piece of tape here.
What if are your steppers? Did they have a voltage range?
Yeah, they sure do.
Are they driven by a variable? What is it? Variable voltage.
They are. I can increase, and I have to be careful about it, but I can increase and decrease the voltage that's going to the stepper via a potentiometer that is on the stepper motor control board.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't gone in to see if I can change the frequency of the voltage or increase or decrease the voltage programmatically. I'm so new to this. I really am. I'm not even sure where to start to try to fix that. I've been looking at the code itself, at the programming code, but not at what else I can change in it.
Does it say on the stepper motor or on the circuit board what the maximum voltage is? Maximum, minimum?
I can find out. I mean, I've got the documentation with me. And we can go look at the stepper motor information.
Yeah,
I mean, the control board information.
Yeah, take a look at that and see what your driving voltage is. I assume it's 12 volts.
Oh, these are the new motors, 4240s. You know, the funny thing is I did all this research and then I shoved my my files out of view. Oh my God, I gotta find them again. There you go.
Yeah, if their maximum is 28 volts, that's a big difference if you're driving it with 12. I assume 12 just simply because that's the basic radio power supply.
Okay, I'm looking at the power supply that's being used.
Oh, do they have their own power supply?
I had to order it. It's a separate power supply, providing input power to the device. The power supply is up to 19 volts.
Okay.
So I'm looking for input voltage for the controller here. But I'm thinking that what I just saw,
I think the input voltage on the controller was 3.3, wasn't it?
well, according to their own board, I mean, you can see it right there in the drawing, 8.2 to 28 volts. So I'm running 19 volts into it now. But I don't have any, I need to put some heat dissipation on these two drivers. I haven't put, yeah, there it is, 8825 drivers. I don't have any anything on here, no fins or anything to keep those things cool. So I've dialed back the voltage. These are the potentiometers that control the voltage that's being sent to the motors. I figured that out by actually hooking up a multimeter to it one day. And if I put too much voltage into the motors, they start to warm up.
But they go faster, right?
I haven't even tested that. I mean, the week that I was working on this, I knew nothing, absolutely nothing. It took me a month just to figure out how to redo the wiring. I mean, you look at this picture and you go, okay, it all makes sense. But when you actually get your motors and start trying to make things work with a multimeter, it's like the wiring, even the wiring diagram is all completely different. And I've learned that about stepper motors so far, is you can never rely on manufacturers being consistent with their wiring. So what I'm getting at is I've been learning every little step of the way of this from knowing nothing. So you're talking about voltages and it's like, hell, I don't know. I'll try it and see what happens. Hopefully I don't burn up the board.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to do that. How good are you at soldering?
I drink lots of coffee. How do you like that? I don't think I'd be very good so far at soldering this stuff. I'd have to stop drinking coffee for a few days.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm not real happy with this. This is just, these are way, way, way too small. And they don't have a really good way of testing it. So if I give myself something where I can actually better understand the voltage, it's very difficult to test these because you have to have three hands, literally three hands to test it. Because all you have are three contact points in the back. And so you got one hand on a screwdriver on one side of the board, trying to find a way to support the board so it won't fall over. And then you've got to hold two test leads, two test probes in the other hand and barely touch these tiny little circles of solder, trying to do all that at the same time. So it took forever to even get them set. I think I got half a volt going to the each of the motors right now.
Those potentiometers, since there's two, do you have a high and a low? And that to your range?
There is a high and there is a low. I forgot what direction it is, but if you turn it one way, you're lowering the voltage going to the stepper, to the coils in the stepper. You turn it the other way and you're increasing the voltage going to the coils in the stepper. I think. I'm not sure. I really have no idea. I'm taking a total guess at this.
Yeah, are the steppers reversible?
Are they reversible? Meaning if Can I make them go the other way? Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I've been doing that here. I think a visual will answer a lot of questions. I don't have any tape on this other stepper, so it's gonna be kind of hard to. I thought I had some tape around here. Yeah, there's some tape. Okay, so let's see. I forgot because I didn't mark these. I'm pretty sure that this one is my x-axis and this one's my y-axis, but I haven't marked these motors. I actually swapped out the other motors because they didn't have enough torque on them. Let's see.
Okay. I understand why you've got two potentiometers now, because you've got two stepper motors.
Right.
Okay.
Let's get into the right program here. Go like maybe 100. This one will go like maybe 100. I won't go very far, but that's okay. Oh, that one didn't even turn. It's probably pinching too tight again. Yeah, I absentmindedly tightened this up too much during our meeting. So that's why that one didn't turn. This housing still has the pinching problem. There, it's loosened up. Okay, try it again. I don't suppose you saw that turn at all.
No, this on the screen that I'm looking at, it's just shows a computer screen, and I can't make out any of the. Oh, now I see a picture of the device.
So you saw both of them turn, right? So now I'll reverse the direction. It took a while just to figure out how to get both motors to go at the same time. I had to talk to a couple of friends who write code. So now it's going the other way. And get them both going in two different directions at the same time. So I'm just basically trying to answer your question. Can you go backwards? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I was just trying to figure out why there were two potentiometers, and I should have realized from the wiring that you had two servos.
So there's enough anomalies in the plastic still that occasionally the worm drive that's in there in the gear kind of gets stuck, and it sits there and provides just enough resistance to the torque to stop the stepper from turning. And that's kind of scary. So I'm just going to hold this with one hand. It's got quite a bit of pull to it. Oh my God. Right there. I'm supposed to hear that. So that's a little bit scary to me.
Yeah, because you're stripping the teeth off your gears.
I got a chance to see what's happening on the inside when it does that. And what's happening is the shaft of the stepper isn't even turning at that point. It's trying to turn, but it just doesn't.
Huh.
And so that has me wondering about torque. You know, have I got enough torque? And the answer is clearly not. If I can sit there and hold it with my hand and stop it, then we have a mechanical problem that's going to need a solution. And I don't really know where to begin with that one. That's why I was wondering about maybe something down here. Maybe if I made this gear smaller to increase the speed, and maybe did something down here to I don't know, planetary gears or whatever those things are, to get this thing to get a little bit more power.
Yeah, to get more torque on it, you'd have to make some kind of gearing arrangement other than the worm gear that you've got, because you really can't do anything to change that.
And then the other part was, what are my limitations on that motor? Can I put some more voltage in it? Then the motor driver itself, you know, what can I put through that motor driver before it burns up? You know, can I give it some more power here?
Right. Yeah.
Electrically.
Be sure to look in the specs on those stepper motors and see what their maximum continuous voltage is, so that you don't burn them up.
Okay, so I got a lot of things to look at. One of them is the maximum continuous voltage. Another one is fixing problems with the worm being a hollow egg worm. That's a weird way of saying it. As fragile as an egg and just hollow. Got to fix that. And then printing one of these at a 45-degree angle so we can get better print lines to increase the strength. So I got a lot of stuff to work with. It's coming up on 9:15. My wife goes to bed at 9:30. I got to go.
Okay.
All right. We'll see you later.
Ciao.